Hello everyone, hope you guys doing well. Let me configure my desktop. Okay, let's give others maybe like a few minutes to join and we will get started. Okay, so we have several people. Oh, are you able guys to see my camera now? Let me quickly reload it. I'm not able. No, I'm able to see my camera. Yeah, sounds great. So hello, welcome to the free course that we conduct every like 2 months. We are thinking maybe that we will be expanding our courses to 3 months. Right now we have every next course starts in 2 months. All of them go in parallel. So we have like QA courses and coding courses going in parallel. And we are thinking that probably we will extend it to 3 months, and maybe the free course will be also once in a 3 month. But for now, every 2 months we conduct these courses. Okay, so welcome. Probably if you join this course, you are just starting your path in tech industry. Maybe you are interested in software testing. Maybe you are interested in software development. And that's why you came here. And today we are starting a manual course. And soon I will show you our curriculum, what we are going to do during this course, what will be the topics of the lessons. But let me start with introducing myself. My name is Arthur. I'm a QA engineer. I just finished my one job as a QA manager here in Sacramento, and just joined a startup from New York, working fully remotely. And I'm just first key person in the startup that will be building everything from scratch, like automation, manual testing, hiring people, and so on and so on. I'm doing courses since 2014. I started with free courses, like by just recording lessons and posting them on YouTube back in Ukraine. And then I have moved to the United States and I was working as a teacher in one of the schools, developed the QA course for them. And right now we started with these guys, open the techstart.dev and doing this amazing job for you and other people. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen now? What we can do, if I ask you a question, what you can do, you can in Slack, I'm not sure, are you able to see this window right now? What you can do, you can select like emotions, and you can send like thumb up, and I see like many thumbs up. Yeah, like this, like Dmitry is doing. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So if I ask you a question, hey, are you able to see my screen? What you can do is just send a thumbs up, and I understand that you're getting everything, you don't have any questions, and we can move forward. Okay, so let's get quickly started. So welcome to the course. Okay, slideshow over here. And I'll start with what is the course about and what we are going to do during the course. Okay, so first of all, this course is designed for people like you, just to decide probably if QA testing or maybe software development is something that you would like to do. Because sometimes there are no free courses, there are just some free lessons or just some webinars, and you just pay money, then you get that course, and in a month you realize that this is not something you would like to do, and you just leave. But you wasted the money. And so this course is designed for you to try, because our course is like 3 weeks course, and we will be doing just a small part of the same thing that we are doing during the main course. So there will be a small project that you will be working on, and there will be some lessons that we will be working on documentation, on the requirements, writing test cases, testing the application, creating bug reports. We will also build test automation framework. We'll talk about interview and resumes and so on. So that will be just a small like part of our main big course. And you will be able to try the same thing that other people are doing during the main course and realize, okay, this is something that I would like to do, or something I don't like to do, and I don't have to waste money on the courses and pay for them. Maybe I would like to go and get some courses in, I don't know, business management or in something else, right? Maybe you will would like to do something else. So this course is just for you to understand if this is something you would like to do, because we will be working on the project, and it will be very similar to what you will be doing on your job when you get a job in the future. And if this is something that you would like to do in the future, because maybe this is not something you would like to do. So, and yeah, so I see the question from AJ. Yeah, AJ, go ahead.
Yes. First of all, thank you for hosting this. I have a question. I'm already in the field. I'm a QA lead for a company, but I'm hiring some automation testers, and that is an area that I have not had as much exposure to, and I'm looking to learn automation myself. So uh, I guess my question would be, is there courses that I can skip to get right to that if I already know some of these things?
Yeah, so anyways, you need to start with coding basics anyways, because our course is like broken down to simple, like simpler courses. So you start with coding basics first, the first 2 months, and then the next 2 months you do the automation. And as I mentioned already, we were probably thinking about expanding the courses to 3 months each, because we think that we still would like to give you more information that we're giving currently. And yeah, so how it looks like, let me quickly stop showing this presentation. I will show you our website. So this is how it looks like. So if you go to the automation, so what we have done, so test automation in other schools, usually it's like a single course. So during that course, you just learn test automation plus QA, and then you get to the test, you learn basics, coding basics plus QA, and then you get to test automation at the end. So what we have done, we say, okay, probably there are some people that would like to just learn manual QA, and there is a course for them. Just if you would like to do manual QA, there is a course for you. This is manual QA. Currently, it's 2 months, but we are thinking to expanding that up to 3 months. And in parallel, you take coding basics. So you learn coding basics. It's for free if you pay for manual QA, coding basics for free. And it's for you to understand if you would like to do coding at all. If you think and you realize that maybe coding is even something that I would like to do better than just manual QA, and some people, they just decide and go to, for example, front-end development right away. So they just skip QA, and based on coding basics, they go to front-end development. Some people, they learn manual QA plus coding basics, and they go to test automation, which is simpler, a bit simpler than going to front-end development right away. They learn test automation based on this knowledge. So for you, for example, yes, it's anyways, you get like, you take coding basics and you get that knowledge, you like build your coding experience in 3 months, and then based on that, you join automation course. But we recommend, since these courses, they go in parallel, you take manual as well. And for you as a lead, there is no need like to like learn something new as other people. But for you, during this course, you will learn our application, because these courses are project based. So we put people on the project, And they will say, these are the requirements, and this is what we do. This is what usually testers do during the sprints. And we give them few sprints during those few months that they learn to learn the system and learn to get that QA knowledge on the project. For you, as currently person that works in the field, you just wait to learn the system, right? In parallel with the coding basics, because coding basics for you is anyways must have to learn than to join the test automation, because test automation is only, again, learning the tool itself that we're going to use, plus the project work as well. But it requires like coding basics knowledge. So you have to know some coding basics stuff to be able to solve some tasks in JavaScript and so on. So that's why we broke down everything to the simple levels, and somebody who will be just learning manual QA, they will stop after the first level. Somebody will go to the next level, to the test automation, and if somebody have decided to go to that development, can only go to third level, which is mobile development or full stack development, right? So this is the path, and everybody just decides what they would like to do. For example, for somebody, just will be 2 levels to test automation based on these 2 guys, or for somebody, just a first level. So for you, AJ, the path is coding basics and then test automation. But attending some manual courses, lessons as well, just to learn our application and be a part of the project, because we'll use the same project for automation as for manual QA. So you learn the project as well, and then once you join test automation, you already know how the system behaves and what to do with it, right? So this is the path. Clear?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's go back to the presentation. Slideshow. Yeah. So for some people, you just try yourself in the role of QA engineer. And what will be people? So during this course, there will be 2 parts. There will be manual part, coding basics part for 2 weeks. And then third week, it will be resume in interview and test automation. So the first 2 weeks, you will be working on coding basics and manual QA. So for people who will be working in manual QA, they will be working with software requirements. Then you will be doing task planning and test execution. You'll be testing the web application, reporting software bugs. You will learn coding basics, as I mentioned, for those 2 weeks as well. And after that, we will build test automation, your first test automation framework. It will be fully functional. It will be just a simple test automation based on those 2 weeks, but you will be able to build it from scratch. And also we'll conduct some lessons about the resume creation and interview tips. You will be able to meet our team, because I will be conducting these QA lessons and probably test automation as well. There will be other people, the other teachers, who will be conducting coding basics and other lessons. So you'll be able to meet them, try our approach, how we teach, right? And you will be able to see if you like us, you like the approach, you like the courses, and if you like the industry itself. Okay. So this is what I just described. So the first 2 weeks, it will be manual QA. So on Tuesdays, you will get manual QA lessons. On Thursdays, it will be coding basics lessons. On the week number 3, you will get 1 lesson in resume and interview creation, and it will be test automation lesson as well. In between them, it doesn't mean this is just a comment to the lesson. There will be also homeworks, because this is our approach, right? There is a secret. Here's the secret. Here's our secret. So 100% of our students, they get a job. And it sounds unbelievable, but the reason is very simple. We just tell people that, okay, so if you would like to get a job, you have to come to the lessons. Then you ask questions until you get full understanding of this lesson. For example, if I'm explaining something you don't understand, you ask a question until you get full understanding. And then you complete the homework. 3 things, and you will get a job 100%. There are people that are just not able to do that, and they're just leaving. So everybody who just gets to the end of the course, finish the course, they get a job. yes, there are some people like who just finished the previous courses. They didn't find a job yet, but like people who graduated from the course like 3 months ago and earlier, everybody is employed right now, because they just, those kind of people that just understand everything and get the knowledge about what they need to do. And so the free course is beneficial for us as a teachers as well, because what we do the same as in the main course. So there is a lesson, there is a homework. If you complete the homework, we will give you, if you complete all the homeworks, we will give you a discount. And the reason is very simple, because we would like you to be successful. And for us, it's also better because our statistics is better. So on one hand, you complete the homework and we see the people right away who will be successful, and we would like you to join the main course. So this approach gives us the possibility to also find the best students, and also we give you the discount for you, just to thank you for being like full person who completes the homework, because that will be beneficial for us. So that's a benefit for us, and that's here benefit for you. So we will give you a discount, and because you completed the homework, because you will be the best student for us as well. And we will have a great statistics, and we will spend less time, because what happens, if there are people who are motivated, who are proactive, who are completed their homeworks, asking questions, we spend less time on that. Because what happens usually, we start the lesson, we do the stand up, and then we ask people, hey, have you completed the homework? No, I haven't completed, or I had some problems, but I didn't ask questions. And we end up with spending a lot of time with those people who are not motivated, who are not completing their homeworks, and blah, 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 right? So we as a teachers spend a lot of time on those not motivated people, and what we end up with, they don't finish the course. They just leave, but sometime, because they are not able to understand the next lessons and the next lessons, because every next lesson is based on the previous one. So they leave, but we wasted our time and spent less time with those students who actually deserve that. So the free course is beneficial for us to find the best and the most motivated students, and it's beneficial for you because it's free. It's a possibility to try and even get a discount for the course if you're motivated and you're really the person who will be motivated enough to find the job. So it's beneficial for both. It's a win-win for us and you as well. Okay. This is just the description of the QA path. So this is usually people who join the QA course. They do the manual QA for 2 months and coding basics for 2 months, and they just join test automation course based on that. So this is the test automation path. So this is what you need to do to become a test automation engineer. But again, I'm thinking about maybe expanding this to 3 months, the first level, and 3 months, the second level, because I think there are more things that I would like to share than the time that we have. So we were improving our courses and adding more and more stuff like API testing, like adding several test automation frameworks. And right now I see that there is not just not enough time to cover everything. So I'm thinking maybe the courses will be longer in the future. Maybe this is even the next course that starts in November will be longer than these ones right now. Okay, and for development path, it's like coding basics, then you go to front-end development, and then you are able to decide either backend or mobile development, or even both in parallel. Because if you take one, the second one is free in parallel. So this is the path. So, okay, so actually this is the slide that starts our QA lesson, our today's topic. So before we start, I'm going to ask you guys if you have any questions before I start the lesson itself. Maybe any questions, you may post that in the chat, or just unmute yourself and ask me.
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Will you be talking about addressing a CI/CD environment, or how QA will work in CI/CD?
Yeah, so in automation, we have that in automation. That's part of automation. How to build in automation and make all the processes running automatically without like human interaction, clicking buttons and so on. Excuse me, guys. Oh, later. I cannot use your time. Discuss later. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's get started. So today we start with create. And I will be trying to explain everything in very simple words so everybody is able to understand what the software tester does and what we will be working with and what you will see in the future in your future career, right? So first of all, let's say what happens when you get a new I don't know, vacuum, for example, or any other new stuff you never used before. You get some new things, or even you are getting some, I don't know, something from IKEA. So how do you know how to use it, how to build it, how to do something with it? So how do you actually know how to use that thing that you just bought or just get from IKEA on blah, blah, blah. So how do you know what to do with it? Any ideas? Again, reminder, you can post in the chat or unmute yourself. Yeah, so I see some answers, people saying that read instructions. That's correct. So actually you read instructions and applications, software applications, everything that you see around yourself right now. You maybe have smart TV, right? You have mobile phone and you have a lot of applications there. So most of them, maybe there are some small applications developed by one person, like or some small startup, yes. But most of them, especially the most popular ones, they all have requirements, like instructions, how that application should behave. And we as testers, we base how we learn how that application works, we read the requirements. So if you go to the company, you have a first day, you just started. So what you will start with, you will start with requirements. Sometimes you don't even have a computer. It takes like a few days to give you a computer, especially in super big companies. There are some logistic problems and they say, oh, we actually didn't get a computer for you yet, but here's the like tablet and go and read our requirements, right? Something like that. So the first thing that you will need at the company and your profession is the software requirements. So you work on the requirements, you read that instruction, and you try to understand how the system behaves or some specific part of the application behaves. Because long time ago, the applications were developed like fully. So there were requirements developed first, like for everything. Like you can imagine Windows, different versions of Windows. So previously, how they were developed, somebody created the requirements fully for the entire Windows system, operational system. Then, based on this, the application was developed. Then based on that, the application was tested. So it was called waterfall. So one process, one I cannot find the word for that. So one, like you had several like times when the application was developed. So somebody creates the requirements first, and then you go to development, then to testing, then to release and support. And it was called waterfall, right? And it's called actually waterfall. It was not called what it's still called waterfall. But the first thing that you start with is the requirements, because you as a tester and developer, as a software developer, everybody needs to know how the application behaves in order to build it or test it or make it better. So we start always with the requirements. Then once you understand everything, you read the requirements. And the only difference that if you have your instruction for the vacuum, for example, or for IKEA, there is no way to improve it. So you have it, and there is no person who is responsible for that. And if you are confused, you have to probably call to the customer support and ask them questions. But if there are some confusions in the requirements, you're not able to ask. Here, you're able to ask. There are usually people responsible for requirements creation, and you're able to ask them questions and improve the requirements itself. So your first goal during this phase will be improve the requirements. And this is really important. This is that people don't understand. You are not just reading the requirements. You are trying to improve them, to make them super clear, not only for you, but for other colleagues, for other testers, and for the developers. And this is really important, and I will try to explain why. Just imagine, so what are you trying to achieve here during the requirement phase? So you read the requirements, there is a confusion. There may be a contradiction, because who create them? People. And people make mistakes, right? So they may create one version of the requirements, and when they improve something, they update something, they forgot to change something. And in one place, requirements may say that the button should be green, but in the other place, it can say that the same button should be red, and there is a contradiction. So if you find that contradiction, you go and ask the question, hey, what happened? So what is the correct color of the button? And then people who are responsible for saying that, hey, oh, I just forgot to remove the old version of the requirements in one place, it should be red. So, and they go and they fix it from green to red. If you don't fix this problem, what will happen? Developers, they also will break down the requirements to some areas of responsibility. And one developer will go and create red button. Second developer will be working on the other piece of the requirements and will go and say, oh, somebody created this button already, but it should be green according to my piece of the requirements. So I will change it to green. And here you go, the bug. Here you get the bug because the requirements say that it should be red, and this is what we should get, the red is the result. But since we have contradictions in the requirements, one developer will create the red button, the second one will override and make it green, and you will have an error in the application because this is not what we expect to see in the application. So by fixing those, by finding those and fixing those, what you will do, you will prevent bugs creation, because everything will be super clear. There will be no contradictions, no ambiguities, and no incompleteness, because sometimes there is just incompleteness. You're just not able to understand fully how the application will behave based on the incomplete requirements. So you ask to maybe to clarify something, to explain in details, to add more details to something. And so those people who are responsible for the requirements, they call differently. Sometimes they call business analysts, sometimes product owners responsible for the requirements. But those people will be responsible for, and you will work with them during this phase just to improve. So the difference between like just reading the instruction and working in the requirements, that you will be person who will be responsible for improving that, for making that super clear for all of your colleagues and developers. Because the same problem will be with your colleagues. You will be creating your test cases based on the requirements. That will be the next phase that I will show you right now. So what will happen? There will be no single person working on every requirement. Usually you break down several people in the team, you break down the requirements to some sections and say, hey, you work on this part, I will work on this part, and you work in parallel in your test cases. And one person will expect button to be green, and another person will expect button to be red. One person will get expected result matching with what is existing in the system, and the second person will report a bug saying the button should be green, but in real button should be red. And you will create a bug report, developer will try to fix it. And what will happen? In both cases, when we have a contradiction or incompleteness or ambiguity, in both cases, if developers were creating the application based on incorrect requirements, or you created the test cases in both requirements, we spend time for the company. Because it will take time for developers, actually, they will be confused. So it will take more time for them to maybe to get the correct information. Or even if they will not find that confusion, they will just implement it as is with the problem, with the bug. It will take time for you to find it. Then it will take time for them to fix it. Then you will need to spend time to check it. And what we end up with, the entire company, the department spends more time on creating bug than reporting bug, than fixing bug, than verifying bug. So you spend a lot of time just on a single bug, and company has to pay you for that. So the processes are not ideal, and in this case, and the company just wastes money and time, because in this time, the company can pay you for something else that you will do, and you will spend time on testing something else, not spending on this thing that you could prevent. So your goal during this phase to make everything super clear, to prevent bugs and prevent your colleagues like QA testers to create incorrect test cases as well, because you have incorrect test case, you will create a bug report thinking that this is correct. Developers, they will try to fix it, but they will find the other information in the requirements saying that the button should be red, why you created this bug report. And then you will spend time clarifying that with the business analyst, and you will end up with just closing the bug as not a bug, because you will find out that you were just confused and there is no bug in real, but you will spend that time. Developer will spend that time. You will spend that time working with business analyst. Business analyst will spend that time working with you. And you will, again, waste money for the company, waste money for the department, and you could work on something else during this time. So that's why your role is not just to test something like a monkey. No, your role is to improve and make it better. All the processes related to the software development. So this is what we teach you. We teach you not only be a monkey tester, just, okay, here's the requirements, and you just get them as is and create your test cases based on that. No, we teach you how to be quality assurance engineer to assure quality on different processes. And that's why reading the requirements, understanding them, and looking for those confusions is very important, just to prevent bugs and save money for the company. And I can promise you that if you do that, the company will appreciate you and you will grow as a professional very fast, because not many people do that. Not many people even understand why they do that, why they work in the requirements, and what is the reason. If you understand the reason behind your work, how you improve the processes, you will grow very fast. You will become a lead manager and so on, because the company will appreciate that. And you will be one of the small amount of people that knows that and really improves the quality of the software and the process of the company as well. So once you work on the requirements, once everything is super clear for you, not confusing, no contradictions, no ambiguities, no incompleteness, you're good to go. You go to next step. Next step, you test planning, you do test planning. Unfortunately, many people say, hey, you create a test plan, and meaning that you just created test cases, but in real, test plan is something different. Usually it's done like managers or leads. When you create a test plan for a project, saying that this will be the team testing the product, there will be manual testing, automation testing. So like a overview of the testing processes. That is a test plan, like according to books, right? But many people, you will hear a lot of people just calling the test cases test plan as well. So just to let you know, test plan, like according to books, according to like the correct process is like a document that describe that will describe the approach, that how you will test the application itself, and the document that you're working on actually creating test cases. Like your test case document, but we will call it test planning. So you will test your planning, and what you usually do, you will create test plans based on the requirements, which is very simple, and I will show you how. Then, so how it works, actually, I will explain a little bit so you have better understanding. So you have a requirement, button should be green, right? So you create a test case that checks that button is green, and you just create it. And this is your expected result, that button should be green. You don't have application at this time. You just have requirements, and you work on your document based on that. You don't have application yet. It's being developed, because developers building the application also based on the requirements. So you work on the requirements, you improve them, and developers will be working based on the requirements, creating the application. And in parallel, what you do, you work on the test planning. Usually you don't create the entire application in one cycle. Right now, everything is developed like in cycles, in iterations. So you take a small piece of the application, like let's say let's develop login page in this sprint, in this cycle. So in this cycle, like in 2 week cycle, everybody's working on login page. So there are requirements only for login page. There are test cases only for login page, and developers developing only login page, nothing else. The next cycle, you develop forgot password page. The next cycle, you develop maybe my account page once you logged in, and so on. Like you take piece by piece, and probably maybe like in 10 sprints, in 10 cycles, you get something working that customers can try and start using. And then you just keep improving. You keep adding functionalities, you can improving functionalities, and so on. So right now we just work in iterations. So every iteration has this cycle. You work on the requirements for this current cycle. Then you do test planning, which is creating test cases, which is, okay, button should be green. You create one test case. Button should be located at the bottom of the screen. There's a test case. Button should have this text. Here's the test case for that. Button should have this text, and you mentioned the text. Then your goal is to cover every requirement. So every requirement you see in the document should be covered. Everything. Let's say if you read that instruction, hey, if you press this button, your vacuum should turn on. If you change this switch to medium, it should start sucking in medium power, right? And you power it to high, it should be high power, and so on. And you check every single requirement that you see, you cover by a single test case. And we will be doing that today. Then after that, once you have that document and the application was created by the developers, you start testing. So you take your test plan document and say, button should be red. You open the application, say button is blue. Okay, so I have a problem. If you have a mismatch, you report the bug report. If it's matching, button is red, then you mark it as passed and go to the next one. You go to the next test case and it says button should be located at the bottom of the screen. You see, okay, button is located in the bottom of the screen. So you mark it as pass and go to the next one. And one by one, you just test every requirement. So this is actually how we make sure that every requirement is met. Because you need to cover every requirement by a test case. And then by executing every test case, you will make sure that everything is working accordingly. So this is just a document that tracks every requirement that you have in the system that it was met. So the only reason that you create a test plan or test case document, the list of test cases, just to show them that, hey, I created the test cases to cover every requirement. And this is the result of testing. This requirement was met and it marked as passed, and this requirement was not met. So it marked as failed, and I reported a bug report, and now you have to fix it. And then you fix it, then we check that bug that it was fixed, and then we say that system is ready and fully functional and can be delivered to the customer. Yeah, so you test and do the bug reporting. At the end, there are other processes that are more advanced, but this is enough for you. We can do regression testing, we can do smoke testing, we can do automation testing, and more and more and more. But in general, this is what you do every cycle. In simple words, you work on the documentation, then you plan based on the documentation, create test cases, like a list of every single test that you will do, and then you go and test that. You just go one by one, line by line, and say, hey, button should be red, and mark them. So you test, and if there is a mismatch between what you expect and what you really get, then you report bug, and developers will fix them, and you will make sure that they were fixed. Pretty simple. So actually, it can be done if you do this for a few months. That's it. So you will get an experience and you will know what to do, because this is actually what we do in general. We just work in the requirements, test planning, testing, and bug reporting. This is mostly what we do. So questions?
Can I ask,
Sure.
if you have requirements, and this is a challenge I go through at my current company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes our requirements are not very clear, and they're limited. The acceptance criteria is pretty small, um, and you don't have enough information to work off of. My question is, from your perspective, how do you work around that? What do you think as a QA is best practices to work with limited requirements?
Yeah, so there are actually two approaches. One approach is when, unfortunately, there are many in companies in my startup currently as well, where there are no requirements, no good requirements, and you have to, and this is very bad because what happens, what we end up with, we end up with that knowledge that some specific people that they have the knowledge. So you cannot find easily how the system behaves. You usually have to go to some people and ask them because they are professionals. They were building this application from scratch. They were working at this company from scratch. And what we have is just, we have a ticket for a new feature and it has description based on their knowledge. And it's very like ambiguous, it's very incomplete and so on and so on. So unfortunately, that can be the case, especially in small companies and small startups. And people leave and they leave with the knowledge. And then what happens? There is no person to ask about something specific or something important. And you have to build that knowledge on your own or go to another person, maybe not so advanced. What we can do as a testers, we can suggest and we can talk to our you can talk to your boss and say, hey, this is what we end up with, this is the big problem, and this is why we're lacking quality, because we don't have good requirements. Of course, we don't have to be super verbose in terms of requirements, because sometimes it takes a lot of time, and especially companies that don't have a big budget, they don't want to spend a lot of time on the requirements, but we can find the middle ground. So my suggestion would be work with business analysts or product owners, explain them the importance of more verbose requirements and with more details, and building the processes, because luckily I have that opportunity because I was hired to improve the quality and to suggest changes, to suggest what we can do better, and they are listening to me. And if I'm saying, hey, it would be better to, guys, this is the problem, here's the problem, and here's the gap, why we create more bugs, see, here's the case. I try to analyze the real situation. For example, we have the requirements, which is pretty ambiguous, right? And then developers, they created a lot of bugs. They just start creating the application, and why? And then we start to analyze why. So what I do, I just organize a meeting and saying that let's analyze what went wrong. And what we end up with, requirements were not clear, I understood them differently, that's why I created this logic, and so on and so on. Then I give them an example. Hey guys, here's the case. The problem is in ambiguous and incomplete requirements. If that could be described better, so let's implement this process. We as a QA team taking the responsibility. Everybody likes that. Everybody likes when you say, I'm taking the responsibility. So there is no responsibility on your side. So I'm taking the responsibility for this. I will be reviewing the requirements and asking questions. And your responsibility will be just answer those questions and make changes in the requirements. Add more information if I am asking to clarify, or update something accordingly to your answers. And then you try to improve that. You see how it goes, and maybe it doesn't go well. You then again organize another meeting and talk to people again and saying, hey, this is what we need to do. We're still not at good in not a good spot, and we have to improve this again and again. And you work with them to improve everything. The very important thing here is the support from your boss. Usually everybody has a boss, right? Like maybe it's for somebody it's CEO, for somebody it's like just other senior manager responsible for the development in general in the company and so on, right? So if you have the support from your boss, if you say, hey, you hired me to improve this stuff, so I need your help and your assistance into improving this, so you have to take the responsibility. What I see in many cases, people just don't care. They say, okay, this is not my responsibility, everything is bad there, I will just by doing my job as best as I can, but this is not my problem. I would say the companies, they don't understand the importance of QA, because for many people QA is just testing. is software testing. It's not quality assurance. Real quality assurance is actually improving the processes, not only the application, but the process itself. Saying that, hey, there is a gap in the requirements. There is a gap how we communicate. There is a gap in this and this. If we just do this, we would improve the quality of the application because we will spend less time and on doing this, or less time, or maybe we would not waste time on that additional activity. So your mission is just to overview not only the application, but the process itself and find gaps. Of course, maybe it's more understandable for you, AJ, but for other people, it will come with the experience. Once you guys will learn the process, once you will learn the company, you will see how it works. But your goal, always remember this, your entire life, just remember this. So your goal is not just to test and sit and say, hey, I will be working on what I told to. No, just try to be proactive and say, hey, this is what we need to improve. I think that this is the area that we can improve or upgrade or whatever. So what I usually try to do, just try to tell people that, in my opinion, this is something that can be improved. Not every time that works. Not every time people are listening to this. But if you will keep trying, you will improve the process. Maybe not ideal process, not ideal requirements, but at least you will get better situation than you have right now. This is the only suggestion that I can do, that I can give you. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions, guys? Okay, so let's continue. Let me quickly show you something. So here's the simple requirements. So usually requirements, you have text and you have some mock-ups that is showing how that application will work, or that part of the application will work. And in this case, as you can see, there is a simple requirement saying that login button should be displayed below the login form. So there are somewhere separate requirements for the login form. But in this case, this part is just describing the login button, and that's it. So it says that login button should be displayed below the login form, and the button is blue. And here's the design, approximate design, that how it should look like. So what you do, you say, okay, well, I'm missing here something, right? Maybe there is no requirements about the text. So you asked about, hey, what would be the text of that button? What would be the button title, right? And because there is no information. So you will improve that, they will add that information. Or maybe there is another confusion about the size of the button, right? And so on. So you ask the questions, whatever is not understandable for you, whatever something is not clear, and you try to make the requirements as clear as possible for you and for developers, for your teammates, and so on. Then, once everything is clear for you, you go and create test cases. And test cases creation is very simple. Before, I believe when I started, like in 2013, it was like test cases, every test case was a document, separate document. When you had the title, when you had steps to produce, when you have expected results, when you have actual result, and then pass-fail criteria, like huge separate document every test case. Right now, nobody's doing that. Maybe some companies are, but like most of the companies, you try to save time and cover them in simple, understandable like statements. So here's the test case that I do right now. It's just actually approximately just almost copy pasting. So login button displayed below the login form. So this is the statement, fully understandable that this is the button displayed the login form. And in the future, you will be just marking, if it's displayed below the login form, you mark it passed, or fail if it's not displayed below the login form. Same for the next requirement, login button is blue, right? And so on. So this is how you create the requirements, test cases based on the requirements. So pretty simple, right? Everybody can do this. Then you get the application. As you can see, you get the application, you take your test cases and start executing them. So you take the first test case and say, login button displayed below the login form. You say, yeah, it's below the login form. So you just mark it as passed. And you compare with the design and see, okay, it looks similar, but you see right away, but the color is different. So you go to the next test case and see login button is blue. And you see it's not blue, you mark it as failed and report a bug. Login button is red. And this is the next step. You create a bug report saying that login button is red instead of blue. And you mention that actual result is login button is red, but expected result, which comes from your test cases, is login button is blue. So this is the expected. So you get the expected result right away from your test cases, and which comes from the requirements. And your actual result is what you see in the application. So you have everything you need for the bug report, and you just report it. So pretty much it looks like this. So here is the process every QA engineer do usually, starting with requirements, then test cases, then executing them once you have the application, and then creating bug reports in case of mismatch. Pretty simple. Everything's clear? Thumbs up if everything is clear. I see Dmitry. One more thumbs up. I see Tanya. Good job. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Okay, so this is about the presentation. I will show you then. We will be working. So this is the requirements for our application that we'll be working on. And our goal today will be work on the requirements. We'll be start creating test cases. So your homework will be to overview the requirements, find the gaps here, ambiguities, contradictions, and incompleteness, and ask me questions. And I will show you how to do that. So we will go through some requirements together with you, and then we will have to continue at home. And then you will have to create your first test cases, because on the next Tuesday, we will start testing the application. So yeah, I will share this document with you. These are the requirements for the small application that we created for you to test with you. It has bugs specifically created for you to report. And requirements, they have some problems that I especially also did. I do that every time. So every course I fix them. People are asking questions. I fix the problems, and then I go before the next course and I create those problems and gaps and ambiguities here as well, again and again. So your goal will be to find them and then create the test cases. So yeah. So I think we already spent an hour. So I'm suggesting to maybe take a 7 minutes break till 8 p.m. in California, 8 p.m. So in 7 minutes, let's meet again. Let's make a tea or get water or go to the restroom, whatever you want, and then we will continue. So you have some break to rest, and then we will spend another hour to work on the requirements and the test cases. Does that work? Thumbs up. Yeah, okay. I see some okays. I see thumbs ups okay, awesome. So see you in 6 actually minutes. So see you around like 8 o'clock in California, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Where's my pause? Okay, I'm back. Let's give others maybe 1 minute to join back, and we will get started. But before we start, maybe somebody has any questions. Let me know. Let me open the chat. No questions. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Let me share my screen again. Okay, are you able to see my screen, guys? Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Not yet. Okay, thank you. Then stop sharing and share again. Share again. Blank screen. Still blank screen? Weird. How about now? Are you able to see some screen? I'm sharing the requirements. Says has started screen sharing. Same. Haha. Stop sharing. Let me then turn my video off. Try like this without video. Desktop. How about now? Dispense chat. No, unfortunately. Wow. Wow, what happened to my screen share? Your screen sharing. This is where we can create this experience. Yeah, of course. Video is here. Still don't see my screen? Not yet. Okay, so let me do something. Let me try to leave. I hope that I will not end this meeting, but I will try to join again. Okay, I'm back. Let me share this again. Okay, how about now? Awesome. So that helped. Yeah, we found the bug report. We have to report it. Not yet. Irina, don't see my screen now. Are you able to see the requirements? Yes. Irina, how about you? Are you able to see now? Awesome. Awesome. So let's then continue. So yeah, let's start working the requirements. I will start reading them and just showing you how I usually do that, and then probably will ask somebody from you just try to read another paragraph and just tell me what you think. Maybe you will be able to find something. So actually, the first this part is just standard part table of content, whatever we have in this document. Then the background is just telling about the history of the application. Those are not requirements, saying that there is a web application called Get in Line. So these application just like for small clinics to regulate walk-in appointments for vaccination. And people are just registering in the system and they appear in the queue. So people on the monitor in the clinic can see the line of the people. For example, maybe you saw that if you go to the pharmacy, like Kaiser Pharmacy, for example, and other places that there is an electronic line, and you can see some people in the line, right? And your name as well. For example, in IKEA, there is also electronic line, and you can see your name and your place in line. So here's the same thing, right? Just to regulate the line of people who came for the vaccination. So just user story, just when the recipients are joining the queue, they want to see the number of people in the line and their position, so they can estimate their time in the line. And then we start with the functional requirements, and I start reading them. So by navigating to the application, we will have some URL. We don't have it now, but we will have the application URL, and that we will be able to go to and just to do the testing. But for now, there will be some application. And by navigating to the application, we should see this 4 quadrants. Okay, so 4 quadrants. One quadrant is text area. Probably this is it. Image, table, and there is no 4. So what you do? So what you will be able to do here, and what you should do, and what I will do right now. So I marked this for quadrants. I marked this, and then I see the comment over here on the right, right? Comment, and I add the comment. I say, it says 4 quadrants describes only three, and then I can mention text, image, table. What is the 4th one? So I'm asking this question, and the owner of this document will get the notification, will get the email. So, hey, Arthur Senko asked you a question. Usually that's a business analyst, a product owner. They come here, they see the question, and they reply, or they even fix right away the problem. They say, oh, I just accidentally removed that 4th point, which is the button here. But that happens because people are making mistakes. They make and this is how that can easily be skipped, right? And you find such kind of problems. Something is not matching. It says 4 here. It shows 4 here, right? But it says only, and actually for quadrant means one of the 4, right? So it should be 4 at least. And that's why you see only 3, and that's why you ask question. So let me actually share this with you. Because you should get the access to this. Oh, can view, not view. We need to comment. You should be able to comment this. Oh, I will copy the link. Can comment. So I will post it in our free October course chat. Who didn't join yet? If you go to announcements, I posted this message today. So if you click on this, you will get to this free October class chat, and here we will be communicating. This will be our team chat that we'll be able to communicate and discuss the progress and the homework and everything else. So requirements, and here is the link, and you will be able to open this these requirements by going to this link, and you will be able to select something and ask question using a comment about it, right? So you ask this question. The first one is a text area, the second one is an image, the third one is a table, and the fourth one should be a button probably, right? And then you go next to the text area. Here's the requirements of the text area. It's located in the left top quadrant. Correct. Okay, clear. Consists of 3 lines. There are some people in the line. Oh, what's a sum? Okay, it's confusing. Sum means the amount of people that are currently in the line. Now, please clarify. Please clarify, and so on. And you go requirement by requirement and try to see what can be confusing. Because, for example, I'm supposing that this should be a variable, like depending on the amount of people in the line. If there are 5 people here, it shows 5 people. But if like there are 200 people, it should be 200 people, right? So it should be probably a better clarification here saying that, hey, this is a variable and it will display the number of people that corresponds to the table, right? The text is left aligned. And also you can ask about the color of the text. Text area, text left line. How about the color? Color and the size. It's really important, right? Maybe it will be smaller in the application. So something like that. Maybe better to check something about the color and the size. Okay. And that's it. So now I would like some of you to help me. Okay, so let me ask, first of all, who wants to go? If nobody wants to go, I will just name some people to go. Who wants to share your screen, the open document, and try to read this for me and try to find the problems? In your opinion, of course. Of course, you may make mistakes, which is totally okay, because the course is for you to make mistakes, and based on those mistakes, you do improvements and you learn how to do better, how to be better. So who wants to go? Who wants to try to read the requirements with me and just find problems? Okay, 5 seconds. Nobody wants. Okay, so I will just ask somebody. So how about I'm happy to go? Yeah, but you know how to do that. So let me just try to make somebody go out of the comfort zone and do that. So how about Dmitry?
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's try.
Yeah, so you can open the document and share your screen. Stop sharing my screen. You can open the document to share your screen, and then we can go through together.
Okay, can you see?
Yeah, so we get to the image. So scroll up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the image. Start from the image.
So located in the middle of the screen. Okay, maybe we need to clarify on actual measurements too, like where's the pixels?
Yeah, I think it's like pretty ambiguous, right? It's not clear whether it's
medium, like yeah, it doesn't give us much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are exact measurements?
Awesome. Yeah.
Like pixels.
Awesome. Yeah, that absolutely works. Also about the location in the screen, can you scroll up and see like the whole picture of the screen? And so what is the location of the image?
Upper right quadrant.
Quadrant. Yeah. And how about the it says the image located in the middle of the screen? Is that suspicious for you?
Yeah, it's yes. It's what is it? Inconsistency.
It's more like a contradiction, right? Because in one place the design shows you that it's like upper right quadrant, but here it says in the middle of the screen. So it's more like a contradiction. It's like it contradicts the that picture, right? That we have.
Okay, so then I'm going to select this one right here. I'm going to add up. So it says that what is it? Image located in the middle of the page, but on a design.
On a design spec, yeah, it's in the right upper corner.
Please clarify.
Awesome, great. Yeah, let it be like that. I know that we can do some You can do some typos or something like that, but it's not a big deal. It's better to find the problem than to make a typo. Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you, Dmitry. That's fully enough. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, let me pick somebody else. We have two Irinas. Irina Cozy. How about you? Would you like to share your screen? Irina. You can mute or you can unmute yourself or something. You can send something in the chat. I'm on the move. Okay, how about the other Irina? Just Irina. Come on, don't be shy. Don't hesitate to do that.
Hello, everyone. No, I don't. I am not shy, but I have a smartphone screen, and I try to see at all, but I don't see.
Okay, I got it. So you are actually right now joining
our chat.
So you are joining us from the phone, right? As I understood.
Yeah. It's first time, and the next time I'll do it in my computer.
Okay, and you will complete the homework as well, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome, great. Then okay, then I give you this chance to skip for now. Okay, who is in the computer? How about Anatoly?
Hi guys. Maybe I answer for this question only speaking, because unfortunately Slack not work correctly in my
Slack or Zoom? You mean Zoom?
No, Zoom works good. Slack.
You don't need Slack right now. You you mean like you don't have the link, correct?
Yes, I don't share, unfortunately, but I see one mistake.
Which one?
Uh,
Okay, so let me share my screen and you will be reading through it. So I have a table. What is the problem with the table here?
Number 5, Artur. Number P. I think it's mistake because Julia says M, Kyler M, Selmer M, and etc. I think it's mistake.
Okay, so actually you may ask that question because you don't understand what those letters mean, right? What they mean. So actually you can ask that question, but the answer would be, that's not a mistake. Actually, it will be described below, that actually this is just a code. So whoever gets applies for Moderna vaccine, they get M letter. Whoever to Pfizer, get P, and there is a third one or fourth one, whatever. So there will be like more. This is what it means. But yes, you see the difference because everybody's M, but the problem is here. They just applied for Moderna, and the only person here is for Pfizer. That's why you have P and the number. But yeah, okay. So then let's read. Then it's table located in the left bottom quadrant. Clear? Or something is suspicious here? Left bottom quadrant. I see that seems like it's fine. Okay, how about the table consists of table header. So this is probably the gray area over here, and it has 4 columns.
We have only 3 columns.
3 columns, correct. So number is here, vaccine recipient is here, ID is here, and button is something extra. It's not displayed on the design. Please clarify. Okay, and yeah, so this is what we do usually. Then table body. Every line of table body consists of place in the queue, patient first name and last name initial, ID.
I don't see initials.
Here it is. It's an M. Like it means. So it means like first name and last name initial. So it's not the full last name, just initial, right? So that's why you see this. So actually, it's not confusing me, but okay. So NID, four symbols, letter and 3 digits. So at this point, of course, it's still not describing what that means. At this point, you may ask, hey, how you know if that letter is correct, and what is the like logic of getting these IDs? What is the logic behind that? So actually, we may ask that question if that's still not clear for you. So let's do the comment. The logic behind those IDs. Okay, and I probably will edit a little bit just to make sure the letter and the number I see is expected like this. So I just would like to make sure that really this is what I expect. Maybe it should be L 100 or something else, right? Okay, so it says the table displays 7 patients maximum at a time in case if there are more than 7 patients in the line. The table displays 5 first patients, then ellipses, and then the last patient in the queue. So let's see. Okay, got it. Did you get what it means?
I understand and I see, but I don't have words for talk about that.
Yeah, for me it's clear. So what I see here is like you display only 7 patients maximum. If you have more than 7, like let's say 8, then you display 5 ellipses and number 8. So actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's always 7 lines maximum, 7 lines. If you have 7, you display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over here, and then 7. But if you have more than 7, like 8, you display 5, then ellipses, and then 8 or 20th, and so on. So like this. So seems like it's clear for me. Okay, and so on. So then you can see there are other requirements, and that will be your homework to go over the other requirements and ask me questions, and that's it. So is everything clear? So our goal right now is to make sure that you will be able to understand the homework, and the homework will be this part of the homework will be to go over the requirements, and just if something is unclear, something is confusing you found the contradiction or incompleteness or ambiguity, you ask a question. You select something, you add a comment, and ask me a question. And I will be just replying so whenever you ask me a question, I will just reply the questions and make changes in the document. Because you will need to write the test cases based on the updated requirements. So I will be trying to be as quick as possible just to reply whatever you ask, and you will be not blocked. You will be able to create the test cases based on the updated requirements. Clear? So let me know now if something is not clear. If it's clear, we'll move forward.
So, hi.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask, do we have our homework consists of making a document with questions, or do we like?
You can ask them right away here.
Oh,
so
okay.
Your goal as a team, just go to this document, because you never have like a lot of documents. You have a document, the system, and all the systems like Jira, Azure DevOps, they allow you to ask a comment in that document. So you don't like create a separate document and send it to business analysts. You just can ask questions right away over here. Just select it and leave a comment about the statement that is confusing or.
So are we doing this now?
After the lesson.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. That was the question.
I'm just making sure that everything is clear and you know what.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, so the requirements document is already shared in the Slack chat, so you have it. I also will share the document for the test cases, so you will have everything. Everything will be here in the chat. Your goal is just to, right now, our goal is just to make sure that you understand what to do, and everything is clear, so we can leave and go to the test cases. If it's not clear, I will just repeat until you get the full understanding. Okay, got it. Awesome. So seems like everything's clear. No questions. Awesome. So let's move. So the next part will be the test cases, just to start writing test cases. And I have a template. So your goal will be, so where is this template comes from? So actually, everything we have is in the Azure DevOps. So our project is Azure DevOps. We have two organizations here. So TechStart development is like our internal projects. So everything we have here is our internal projects that we work on. React Smart Development is like a separate company that we test the applications for. So this is our main project over here. It has the requirements. I will open it for you just to demonstrate. So this is what we use during the main course. So we have a lot of requirements over here, not only for manual testing, but also, for example, API testing over here, right? And this is what we work on. So we have a bunch of stuff over here. If I work in something over here, remind password form validation, for example. Over here, it describes everything. So also we have, so Azure DevOps is our project management system. We have everything here. We have documentation here. We have sprints and task management system here, bug reporting team. We do retrospectives here, meetings here. All the repos with the code, test automation, backend, front end are here. Our continuous integration pipelines are here, and test plans are here. So as manual testers, what they do, they start with the requirements that are here in Wiki that I opened for you. And then once they work on the requirements, same as you, then they go to test plans. They create a test plan and create a list of test cases, as you can see here, right? List of test cases over here. So we are going to do the same, but we're going to do this in spreadsheet because we cannot add you to the project, this real project, as a part of manual course, free course, I'm sorry. But this template comes from here because I can export these test cases in this view, or like in this way as a spreadsheet. And then once I'm done with the test cases, I can import them into this place, and it will create a test plan for me based on what you created here. So it will be looking like this, like this. If I open Footer, for example, on Footer test cases, right? So these are the list of the test cases. If I like import, I can import test cases and I can export test cases as CSV, but actually that is a spreadsheet as well. So these are the IDs, and everything, as you can see, is matching the template. So this is the template is used for creating test cases and then importing them to the system. So that's why we will use this spreadsheet. You will create your test cases over here, and then I will import them into the system. So, but because I cannot add you during the free course to the project, but if you join the main course, you will be working actually in Azure DevOps, not in the spreadsheet. Okay, so let's start doing this, but let me just probably remove this. Let's start from scratch. So what you will need to do, you will need to, I will share this document with you as well. So your goal will be, if you have Google Drive, you can make a copy of this document and copy it to any folder in your Google Drive. You create a copy, and then you share this document with me. Once you're done with the test cases, you share it with me in the chat, and I will check your test cases. If they actually, we will do that probably. I will do that before the next lesson, and even we will overview the test cases when we start the next lesson on next Tuesday. So you can have a feedback, live feedback from me as well. Or if you don't have Google Drive, you can download this as a Microsoft Excel document and do this locally on your computer. So it's up to you how to do this. But if you have a Google Drive, it will be better because you will just make a copy to your Google Drive and you will share a link with me without sending a copy of the document into Slack. So, okay, so how we will create test cases? Our approach will be very simple. You go to the requirements. This is what I usually do. I open test cases in one part of the screen and the requirements in the other part of the screen. And just side by side, I go and create a test cases. So first of all, I go to the first requirement and I see. By navigating to the application, user can see 4 quadrants, and there are the quadrants. So I see 2 requirements here, and maybe even more, but at least 2. One requirement about quantity, about how many quadrants we see, even without describing exact quadrants we have, but about how many quadrants we have. So one requirement says about how many quadrants, and the second requirement, it says these are the quadrants that we have. If you would like to describe test, there is a text area in the left top quadrant as a separate test case, and then there is an image in the right top quadrant. It won't be a problem as well. That will be correct as well. But if you decide to say there are 4 quadrants as one requirement, just saying about the quantity, and the second describing exactly the quadrants, that will be a second test case. And that will be good as well. So what I will do, I will just copy and paste, because most of the cases, I will just copy the paste. By navigating to the application, user can see 4 quadrants. That's it. I don't have to even add anything. Sometimes, so there was evolution of test cases. As I mentioned before, test cases were like every test case was a separate document, and they were saying like there was a short title, like saying that okay, there are 4 quadrants, and then how to get to that state. Open the application, pay attention to how many quadrants you have, and then expected result, there are 4 quadrants, and then place for actual result. And then you put actual result, there are 4 quadrants, and then only you pass. Or there are 3 quadrants and you fail the test case and you create a bug report. But people were thinking, hey, why do I need to spend a lot of time just by writing this complex documentation? So they started to write like checklists, like saying verify that by navigating to the application, user can see 4 quadrants like this, like the full complete sentence, right? But then they thought, okay, every time I say verify that, why? It's like obvious. Everybody understands in our department that I mean that I need to verify this. So they just started to say complete sentences without saying verify that. So you just say by navigating to the application, user can see 4 quadrants, and that's it. This is fully enough to say that this is what you're testing. Again, sometimes copy paste doesn't work because you cannot say just text area, right? Text area and just copy and paste. No, you have to type and create some meaningful, understandable, clear test case saying that the top left quadrant is text area. So this will be understandable for everybody who opens my test cases. They will say, the left top quadrant is text area. The top right quadrant is the image, and so on, right? You will have 3 more. The bottom left quadrant is the table, is the table. And the right top quadrant, I don't see. I suppose that this is a button, is the button. But I will put a, what I will do, I will put a question mark, and I will mark it as in yellow, just as a note that I'm still pending the answer from the business analyst. Once I get the answer, I will go and make it, I will do reset here, and I will remove the question mark if business analyst confirms that there should be a button. But according to this design, I'm supposing that this is should be a button, but I will mark it so I know that this is something I need to pay attention to. Clear? And you go then line by line. What I also suggest to do, if you get to the image, you also add some general design verification. Check the, or compare the design, spec with the actual application, right? And then check the design, the image design with the actual image, check the table design with the actual table, and so on. And you go line by line, and you try to break it down to simple, understandable test cases. Okay, so just to let you know that you have to cover every requirement. Every requirement here should be covered. This is your goal. You don't have to skip anything, because the problem will be if you forget to if you skip the location, if you don't test the location, if you then don't test that the first line is this, the second line is this, the third line is this, if you don't test this, right? If you skip that. So it consists of 3 lines. It should be probably a separate test case, because the text can match. Test may match. It may be the same text, but not in 3 lines, in 4 lines, in 1 line, and so on. So you test the quantity separately, you test the text separately, and so on. Text is left aligned, another requirement. So you test every single requirement by every single test case. And your goal is to test every requirement. This is the goal of the testing. Because if you skip something and there will be a bug, you will miss it. That bug will go to the customers. And if somebody else will find it, they will blame you for your bad job and so on. So your goal is just to simply understand the requirements, ask questions, and then cover all of them by the test cases, which is, in most of the cases, just copy pasting. But you also need to think about how to cover them properly, and you copy the text, but that should be meaningful. People should be able to understand what you are testing, what you're checking exactly, without looking at the application or the requirements at all. Just according to your understand what you're exactly testing. Here, everything is clear. Navigating to the application, I can see 4 quadrants. Clear? Clear. The left top is this, right top is this, bottom left is this, top right, bottom right is this. Bottom right is this. And then just compare the design spec with the actual application. Then text area. So let's see. I cannot just copy this, because if I copy this, people are not looking at the left part of the screen, saying that, for example, what is the located in the left top quadrant? What is that? Actually, you can skip this. Smart. It will be smarter to skip because you already covered this, right? The left top quadrant is the text area. Actually, it just repeats here. It's not a big deal in the requirements, because it just repeat. If they repeat for better understanding, it's fine. It's not contradiction, right? Because it's matching. It says in both cases that it's located in the left top quadrant, so you can skip this. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, and then it consists of 3 lines. You cannot just copy this and say consists of 3 lines, because the first question I have when I trying to test your test cases, because what happens usually? You may write test cases, other people may test your part, you may test other part, and so on. So people will be asking, hey, what is consist from of 3 lines? It's not clear. So again, the sentence, the statement should be full to be able to understand. So it should be text area. The text area consists of 3 lines. So this will be correct statement. The text area consists of 3 lines, and then I will need to check that. And then I may say that the first line is this. This line is, and I will just copy. Then the second line is some people. And I will mark this because I still don't have answer for this. And I will put question mark. So I will mark this in yellow because I'm still pending the answer. And third one is this. Third line is this. And AJ is asking if the Azure DevOps is similar to Jira. Yeah, Azure DevOps, it's not similar to Jira. Jira is like a part of the Azure DevOps because Azure DevOps is project management system. You have repos there because usually companies, they are using several systems. They use GitHub for code. They use Jira for bug tracking, maybe for test cases creation as well, because there are some plugins that you can install in Jira. Document management system is here as well, and a lot of other things. So this is like project management system. You have entirely the entire project over here. Pipelines are here as well, right? Usually pipelines is in Jenkins or somewhere else under their system. So Azure DevOps is Microsoft product, and it has everything. So this is why I like it, because we manage the entire project in one place. You don't have to think about the communications with different system, about how you connect your bugs with items or pull requests in GitHub and so on. So we have everything in a single space. So this is why it's very beneficial for us. Okay. So, and your goal is actually, if you are attentive to details, pipelines is like, if you join the automation course, I will tell you, it's just a automation way to automate the processes, continuous integration pipelines. It's when you, somebody creates a new code, it automatically triggers the build process, builds that to some environment, and then you are able to open that environment, and then it automatically triggers your automation testing that runs the tests in that environment. So everything happens automatically. And then if everything passes, it deploys everything to production automatically without your interaction. So pipelines is like process automation, that you automate every processes to make your process more efficient without like having people manually testing everything and saying, hey, if we approve this, and only then you can move something, and somebody has to go and click, build, and deploy to production. Pipelines are just a way to make everything happen automatically. So probably, as you noticed, the really probably great skill for tester will be attention to details. If your attention to details, if you precisely think about every requirement and copy and cover every requirement here, that will be very beneficial for you. Because if you are doing like this so without thinking about, hey, did I cover everything here? Did I covered everything properly? Did I break it down to a single requirement per test case? That will be very beneficial for you. That will make you a really good QA engineer. And if you are proactive, you are attentive to details, you will be successful for sure, believe me. Okay, and the also the text is left aligned. I will say the text. The text in the text area is left aligned. Okay, so, and so on. And then you go to the image and you describe the image is left aligned. What was the question? Also, there is a color and the size. So I will probably add some notes over here. Oh, like color and size, because I asked a question about that, and I will just mark this for myself, just to remind me that there is a question pending, and I need to get an answer from the business analyst on what will be the color and the size. And if there will be an answer, there will be additional requirements over here. I will just add test cases over here as well. And one by one, you go until you cover everything, until you cover all the test cases. So in most of the cases, as you can see, it will be pretty much simple. You will be just copying and pasting and describing more. So you just copy paste the statement, but then you describe it a little bit better, like saying that not only that consists of 3 lines, but you say that the text area consists of 3 lines. So everybody is able to understand what you're talking about here. And then you will get to some interesting parts of the application, like here. The table displays 7 patients maximum at a time. In case if there are more than 7 patients in the line, the table displays first 5 patients, then ellipsis, then the last patient in the queue. So here you need to think about the task design and about the classes of equivalence. So this is what I'm will try to show you. So how to test this? You cannot just copy paste. You have to really think how to test this, how to make sure that this behaves correctly. And when you think about two different cases. One case, when you have 7 from 0 to 7, then it will be displaying all patients. When you have 8 and to infinity, or this is not infinity, this is another 8 to infinity, then you display 5 plus ellipsis plus the last one, then n, right? So this is 2 cases that you need to imagine in your head. You can draw, actually, if you have a piece of paper, you can draw this to imagine better, and this is how you need to test it. In order to test this case, it's not enough just to copy and paste and so on. You have to really think about the test cases you will create. And actually here, there are only 2 classes of equivalence. There is one class that displays this and the second class that displays this. And you don't have to test everything. It's enough to test on boundaries, 7 and 8. It will be enough to tell that system behaves correctly, because if you test 7 and you see ellipses, this is the failure right away, and you don't have to even test 8, because the positive test case, what you expect is see all the 7 people in the line, and you add 7, you will be able to add 7 patients in the system. You will be able to add patients, actually. 1 patient, another patient, third person, patient, and you will be able to see more people in the line. And once you add 7 and you don't see ellipses over here, you see ellipsis, that's a failure right away, and there is no need to test 8. But if you test 7 and you see everybody is displayed, it's okay. So this test case passed. And then you go with 8. And if 8, you see ellipses, and you see 5 ellipses and 8, it passed. But if you don't see ellipses, you see everybody in the line, like 8 lines, but it should be 7 maximum, it failed. So you will find bug as well. So actually, it's fully enough to test only these boundary values, 7 and 8 only, because there are only 2 classes of equivalence, and you just test on the boundaries, which is the 7 and 8, and that's it. So your test cases will be, let me just do this. So your one test case will be, so it will be some space over here, and let's say I add test case over here, because I will cover other test cases, right? But once I came to this one, so then I will say that if there are 7, you mentioned the exact number you're testing. You don't say from 0 to 7. You say, if I enter 7 patients, if there are 7 patients, then the table displays all of them. then I will copy. If there are 8 patients, then the table displays 5 first, 5 first patients, ellipsis, ellipsis, and the last 8th patient. Like this. You describe, of course, you describe in your own words. Maybe it will be a different statement, but this is the approach that you use. So you use exactly the numbers that you're using. So if you say 7 patient and 8 patient, you don't say like general. If I would add 0 to 7, because you won't be testing that. You won't be testing 0, then 1, then 2. You will be testing actually exact number, which is 7, an exact number, which is 8, and that's enough. That's the minimum amount of test cases to say that this requirement was met. And why we do this? Because as you can see, we can add way more test cases. But in order to be efficient, to test minimum amount of test cases to say that this is good enough to say that the application is functional is 2 test cases in this case, because there are only 2 classes. One class when displayed all, and the second class when displays 5 plus ellipsis plus the last one. So only 2 classes. So this is called equivalence partitioning. So you like partition your cases into equivalence classes, and also boundary values. You use only boundary values to test this. Now another example for you. Let me clear the annotation. Another cool example here is about testing the input fields. So there will be a registration form. Once you click the button, there will be a registration form when you enter the first name, last name, the birthday, and so on. And as you can see, there are requirements here that the first name accepts 1 to 70 any symbols and 1 to 70 any symbols for the last name as well. And here also you need to use equivalence partitioning and boundary values. So let's test for the length of the input. Fortunately, it accepts every type of the character, so you don't have to take care about the testing different different classes over here, because if they would accept only let's say numbers and letters, you would have to test that it accepts number of letters and doesn't accept special characters, so it would add more test cases. But here it accepts everything, so you don't have to take care about that, but you have to take care about this, the length of the input. So what you would do is you would also think how it will work. So actually this is the input. So actually there's a 0 symbols when it's empty, and it should be not accepted. It should be an error message. It shouldn't be empty. There is 1, and then there's 70, and there's 71. So these guys are not accepted. These guys are accepted. These guys are not accepted. So you have actually 2 classes: not accepted, and accepted. So 2 classes. But since they are like on different sides of this partition, right? So you have to test in the boundaries. So actually there will be 4 test cases. You test 0 and 1, and 70 and 71. And those 4 test cases will be enough to say that it works or not. And the reason is very simple, actually. The reason why we use this, why we use boundaries, is the way how we write code, how the developers write code. Because what happens, if you write the code, you usually in your statement, you say if the length is more than equal than 70, for example, right? More and equal than 70. And if developer makes a mistake and says not more than equal, but actually it should be, let me get that. The length should be, if length is more than 70, so which is 71 and more than 70, then trigger an error. But if developer just puts this, it will trigger an error for 70 as well. So if you enter 70 symbols, it will be not accepted as well. You will get an error message. Just one symbol added by developer because it's more unequal than 70, and that's it. Or another thing, for example, developer writes in another way, like length is more than equal than 71. So if it's 71 and more, then it should trigger an error message. But developer forgets to put an equal and says more than 71. So 71 will be accepted as the input, and only 72 will trigger the error message. So that's why the problems happen on the boundaries, because developers are using either this or this number to create a statement for the application to work and do the validation. And that's why exactly testing the boundary values is absolutely enough. You don't have to test something in the middle. You don't have to test 72, 73, and so on, because the problems always happen on boundaries. And if even developer used 73 in the statement, you don't have to test 73 because you will get 71 accepted, which should be rejected, and you will get that error anyways. So since the requirements saying about this, testing boundaries are fully enough. And there will be 4 test cases. Enter 0 symbols, which is leave it empty and submit. Enter 1 symbol and submit, and enter and make sure it's accepted. And it's enough because some people may have the name that consists of single letter, and same with the last name. There are last names that just one single letter or 2 letters. I believe I never saw 2 letters, but I saw one of my daughter's teacher. She had last name with 2 letters. It was NG, yeah. So it's possible, right? So that's why the requirement like that. And then you enter 70 symbols here, and it should be accepted. You enter 71, it should be not accepted. So this is how you cover these requirements. Like, it looks like a single requirement over here, but you need to break it down to 4 at least. And that's what we use, how we use equivalence partitioning and classes of equivalence and boundary values. So you test boundary values. 4 test cases: 0 input, 1 symbol, 70 symbols, and here you try to mix numbers, letter, and special characters to see that all of them really accepted, and then you enter 71 and see that it's not accepted. So this is how it looks like. But yeah, those are like special cases when you need to think about how to cover this. And there is a very simple approach how to do this. You think, when I will be testing this, will it be a single action or many? When you would like to test this and say, hey, I need to test that the field accepts 1 to 70 symbols, will one action that I add something and click, or will be more actions like 0 and click, then 1 and click, 7 and click, and 71 and click? So as you can see, there are more actions than 1. That means that you need to think how to break it down and how many test cases you need to cover that requirement. In this case, it's 4 minimum, and you don't need to have more. Same here, 4 minimum. And above it was 2 test cases, right? For this, it was 2 test cases, 7 patients and 8 patients, and you will be able to test it, because if there are bugs, you will catch them with only those 2 test cases, and if there are bugs, you will catch them only with those 4 test cases over here. And that's pretty much it. So actually, your goal will be to read the requirements, ask questions, and then you can right away write test cases. If there is something unclear, you mark it with yellow, and you will fix it once you get an answer. And you will get a notification once I reply in your email. Plus, I will parallelly post in the Slack as well. Hey guys, I'm done with the requirements. I answered all the questions, so you're good to go. And you can then go and see what I replied. So your goal will be ask questions. If I replied, let's say I will reply like this: sorry, just accidentally removed, right? And I fix it. I will reply like that, and I will add fourth, which is fourth quadrant, which is get inline button. Get in line button. Oh, let me fix this problem. Make it smaller a little bit. Yeah. Get inline button, right? So I fix it, and then I am, as the person who asked this, I go and resolve. I like the answer. I see that it was replied. This is fully enough for me, and then I go and resolve, and it disappears. So the person who asked the question gets the answer, and then you may resolve the comment because you get the answer. If you didn't get the answer, you still have something to ask. You again reply in the thread below and ask me again to clarify more. And then once you get the final answer that is fully understandable for you, then just click resolve. And that's it. At the end, we should see no comments over here. This is the process. This is how it usually happens in the companies. You ask questions, you get answers. If you like the answer, everything is fine now, you just resolve it and it disappears. And everything that is displayed, still displayed, means still pending, still not resolved, still pending, still no final answer. And we do this until we get the final answers and final understanding how the application works. And based on that, you create the test cases. Oh man, did I close the test cases? Oh no, they are here. Yeah, the test cases. And we will check everything. So you have the time till Tuesday, the next Tuesday, to cover all of this. That should be pretty simple. That shouldn't be, you can do that in parallel. You can read and try to write test cases right away. And once you get an answer, you just mark it in yellow. And in parallel, you will just finish this requirements and test cases. You will mark them in yellow. Once you get an answer, you go back. This is the answer was received. And that's it. It should be the bottom, right? And so on. And until you get the full clear test cases list. And the next lesson, we will overview everything and we'll start testing, start bug reporting and bug reporting rules and everything else. So that would be pretty fun and cool. So this is what we usually do. I think I tried to explain it in very simple words. So you understand that this is doable. This can be done. This doesn't require some super specific knowledge, many years of learning in the university. This is pretty doable. If you're just smart person, you have a great attention to details, proactive, you will be able to do this because the approach is very simple. You work with the documentation, then based on that, you ask questions, and then you create test cases, which are based on the requirements. And the only thing you need to make sure you break down that to single requirement. You cover it not by just copy pasting, but cover every single requirement. So this is what you do, and that should be pretty simple. So our goal right now is to make sure that you know what to do. Let me quickly share this. So, and if we need to copy the link, viewer, yeah, viewer should be enough. You should be able just to view and copy. So let me post this, test cases. And then I will, separately after the lesson, I will just like post a recap. This is what you need to do. Finish the requirements overview, ask questions, get answers, and then complete the test cases. In test cases, you may either copy to Google Drive or then load as Excel document and do that offline on your computer, on your computer in Word, in Microsoft Word. So up to you how to do that. But I'm suggesting to do that in the spreadsheets. It will be easier for you just to do that online and then just share the link with me without having to sending the document. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions, guys, please let me know because right now we cannot leave if you don't have understanding what to do. And I will explain one more time something that you didn't get or whatever. So let me know if you get everything and then you can leave. 10 seconds. Okay. AJ, I see your question. You can call me in Slack. If you call to the text start, you can called TechStart. I'm right now under TechStart in Slack over here. So if you call me to TechStart, if you select TechStart, and I believe there can be a call. Let me select any person, like Olga, for example. Call. Yeah, I can call. Yeah, you can try to call me. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, I am able to call Olga. So you can click on me and call me after the lesson, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so no questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Awesome, guys. It was nice to meet you. Hope you enjoyed. I hope that I was able to explain you everything in simple words and you were able to get what we usually do. There is more to do, but we just try to do during this free course, short course, to explain you what we usually do as a testers, learn some coding basics, do some test automation, and for you to understand this is what we usually do. And if this is something you can do, you like, and you would like to get paid for this, then yeah, you will be successful. And you definitely have to invest some time into learning testing and test automation. So thank you all and see you. I personally will see you on Tuesday and some other teachers will see you on Thursday. They will post separate announcements about their lessons. There will be coding basics, so you will join that lesson. But I personally will see you on Tuesday in the next QA lesson. Thank you and bye-bye.